right? All right, so I guess we get this started. Do we have to introduce this? We just
I guess if you want, I can just read the title and then, because I'm the first slide, I think, right?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do that.
Should we say like each person say like, hi,
Okay, so
yeah.
So I'll say the title and then everyone can say their names.
All right.
Okay. The project we'll be presenting on today is the impacts of climate change and sea level rise for CPSG 101 Science and Global Change first year colloquium. And I am Spencer Knuth.
I am Jacob Scabis.
And I'm Melisa Diaz.
And I'm Michelle Pinkrah.
The first thing we're going to talk about is the main causes. And there's three main causes. There's melting glaciers and ice sheets, thermal expansion, and decline of liquid water on land. Antarctic ice loss has nearly quadrupled from 51 billion tons per year to 199 billion tons per year. And ice loss from the Greenland ice sheet has increased sevenfold. Between 1993 and 2010, the rate of global mean sea level rise was 3.2 millimeters per year, and thermal expansion accounts for around 34% of that. And for the last point, the decline of liquid water on land when groundwater is overused, the lakes, streams, and rivers have their supplies diminished, and excessive pumping in coastal areas can move seawater upstream.
Next, we're going to look at some of the most affected areas.
Here are the places that are most projected to be most affected by increase in sea levels. Climate-induced sea level rise will impact places all over the globe. However, countries in South and Southeast Asia, countries in Africa, Egypt, Mozambique being the most hotspots for potential impacts, and small islands in the Caribbean and in the Pacific Ocean region are predicted to be the most impacted by sea level rise. Part of the reason is because these regions have lower GDP or are in transition states. For example, Southeast and South Asia are growing rapidly and their populations are more impacted because of the way they are growing.
Next, look more at some of the insular regions, which just means island areas. You can see that since they're a lot lower and closer to the water, they're definitely more at high risk. Specifically looking at some of the species that would be affected by sea level rise. By the year 2100 is expected by this source, 1 meter sea level rise. And it shows that there are significant risks due to the increasing water levels that the plant and specifically more some animals that are going to be losing their habitats and potentially go extinct from this. The figures down below show reptiles. At 1 meter, it looks like it's only about one species, but if you're looking at some of the plant species, the y-axis is a much higher scale and shows that there's more, at least about 25. It looks like it's about a quarter there. Looking above, you can see that all of these insular regions all around the globe will be affected. You've got over 400 islands in Japan, Micronesia. You've got so many places that will be affected because of their proximity to the water and low elevation. Looking at a high-risk area that is very important is Shanghai, since it is so close to the water and so low. Also, big cities like this are at risk because of land subsidence, which is sinking lower down due to the soil composition. By the year 2030, there could actually be over 200 square kilometers of flooding of depth of half of a meter, which is a very scary thing that we could be dealing with. And the graphs below show the years 2030 and 2050, respectively, with their flooding depths.
Okay, more effects on coastal regions. There will be shoreline recession. There will also be displacement of coastal plants and animal communities. So this graph right here just shows that as sea level rises, more habitats are lost. There's also groundwater inundation. So I see level rises, fresh water floods the surface, and there are also salinity changes. Effects of increase and frequency of flooding. So it challenges the sustainability of these coastal areas. There's displacement of communities. Inundation of low-lying coastal areas, increased beach erosion. So this over here is just a picture of how sand is being taken away by the water. And it harms the economies of these coastal cities.
So there are economic impacts of sea level rises. Flood costs are projected to increase throughout the century and increase rapidly throughout the later half of the century. Costs both include damage costs and protection costs. Economic impact varies based on the type of adaptation strategy. However, adaptation strategies are needed to mitigate the direct costly impact of coastal flooding. This graph just shows that as in certain regions, as depending on the strategies that they are implementing, their costs for mitigation are increasing due to the steady increase in sea level changes due to increase in temperature.
And these are our sources, and that is all.
Did anyone time us?
I didn't. Let's see if I can.
How long is it supposed to be?
I think 5 minutes. I'm gonna stop the recording and see if I can view it and see like how long it was, and we'll just record again if we have to.